I'm Justin6, and this is another vlog. And today I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts on the GMTK Game Jam, which stands for the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam. Which, for those that don't know, it was a game jam hosted by the YouTube channel Game Maker's Toolkit, which is a YouTube channel by a man by the name of Mark Brown, and he does videos basically on game design. And this was his second game jam, and a game jam is just a competition where you have a certain amount of time to make a game based on a theme. And his first game jam I entered as well, and I did very badly. I didn't actually submit my game. Well, I think I submitted it, but it was broken and literally just didn't work in any way. But I really liked the theme in the first one, and I really like his videos, so I decided to do this game jam as well. And this time I did finish the game. And I've talked about the game jam and my experience with it over the last couple of days, but I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts on it today and then talk in general about how I've been progressing with game development stuff, because I'm trying to resume my normal vlog schedule basically, and the first vlog in that set of schedule is game development, and then tomorrow will be drawing or art. And yeah, so making the game for this game jam was difficult to say the least. I had a lot of problems just picking what kind of game I wanted to make, because for those that don't know, the theme was genre without a mechanic, and the example he gave was his video on Snake Pass, I believe it's called, which is a platformer without jumping, where you play as a snake, and the platforming is you crawl around as a snake, and it's more puzzly, I guess, which I guess platformers in a way are also kind of like puzzles, just with jumping. So yeah, I like the theme, and it resulted in a lot of interesting games, but I just had difficulties coming up with a game that I could actually make that fit the theme well, and I ended up just deciding on dating sim without dialogue. And some of my initial ideas were basically to make a platformer where you have a companion, like a follower, and you get multiple companions or followers with randomized stats, and then the player would also get randomized stats, and then you'd have to determine which of the followers had the closest stats to you, or either that or the most opposite stats to you. And it would be you're finding the person who matches best with you based on who's most similar to you, or who's the most opposite, because opposites attract, supposedly. So that was my initial idea, but I realized that I couldn't really do that, because the best I could do with followers, I couldn't really figure out how to give the follower stats. At least in the short amount of time I had to work on the game, I couldn't manage that. And then I kept going down in scale for what I wanted to do, and I ended up with the game that I currently have, and I'm happy that I finished it. I'm happy that I reduced the scope and didn't go for my original ideas, because I think it's important to realize what you can actually do with the time you have. Instead of having a half-baked game that doesn't work, that's overly ambitious, I have a game that works, and while it's not super ambitious, it works. I finished it. I came up with an idea, and then I made the idea. So, and that's the main thing that I like about game jams, as I mentioned in my last video. And how I specifically made it was I used Photoshop for pretty much everything. I used a lot of images from pixabay.com, which basically has free-to-use commercial images, which I basically always go to that website whenever I need images for anything. I've used them before for Instagram posts and thumbnails, less for thumbnails, because I normally just use a screenshot of my face. And yeah, so I used that, and then I drew some stuff in Photoshop, but not that much. I made the main character model, and then the stuff I took from Pixabay I also changed a little bit in Photoshop, and then I put it all together. And then I used Construct 3 for the game side of things, and actually making all the assets into a game. I used a random music generator to come up with the music, and I just kept randomly generating music and messing with it to find music that I thought fit. And then I used there's a couple different free to use sound effect generators that are really useful. I use them for the sounds, which the sounds I wish I had made louder, because I don't think they're super easy to hear. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I did to make the game, I think. And yeah, I don't think it's I think pretty much anyone can do what I did with the game, like learn those things. Most of the stuff I did isn't too hard to learn. And then in other news, I'm like finishing up the polishing stages of the first game I made for the first game jam, and I want to submit that to the Feedback Friday of a YouTube channel called Game Dev Underground, because the first Friday of every month he gives feedback on people's games. So I basically want to finish that game completely up to this Friday. So I'll probably next week have an update on how that went, and probably link that game again then, as it should be changed a decent amount from when I first submitted it to the Ludum Dare 42. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on with game dev. My thoughts are a bit scrambled today. I was planning on having them less so, but I didn't realize that I was going to be traveling for 6 hours today, and I just finished traveling for 6 hours. As for those who watch my vlogs normally, you can see that I'm back to a familiar background. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Tomorrow I'm hoping to do drawing again, and in general this week get back to the regular schedule. So if you enjoy my content, you can look forward to that. Subscribe if you want to see it. Comment down below if you feel like it. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.